Welcome back to WWTA News. Thank you for returning for another episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm glad you all came back. We got some more information, some more articles to look at and see what's going on. And yeah, let's jump right in. All right, our first article: Bitcoin transaction fees surge in El Salvador. Users suffer the consequences. Skyrocketing activity has led to a surge in average Bitcoin transaction fees, which rose to a US dollar amount of $31.15 as of March 8th, exerting increasing pressure on users in low and middle income economies, including Bitcoin reliant communities in El Salvador, the first country to implement mass adoption of the digital currency. Interesting, right? Marcy Romero says, I'm in El Salvador right now, just witnessed a cash withdrawal. These individual now had to pay $20 in fees for getting $100 out in a country where the average salary is $300 to $350. I want you to think about that. Okay, all right. Look. So obviously, right? The reason I never talk about Ethereum or Bitcoin, and most of you probably don't even get too wrapped up in it, is mainly that cost for transaction. It's ridiculous. This is why they have layer 1 and layer 2 technologies, and they're doing all this to make it cheaper to use an expensive system. It kind of defeats the purpose to use these technologies, instead of using the old system. Like, it does not make sense to me, and this is just my thoughts on this, but it does not make sense that you would chase a higher fee to do a transaction than doing it the old-fashioned way. Now, if you're talking ISO messaging system, then we're talking something a little bit different, especially when we're talking about networks or blockchains like XRP's blockchain, Stellar Lumens, as well as others, where you have that nearly instantaneous 123 transaction that's cost less than a cent. If we're talking that, it makes sense. If we're talking $20 to send $100, you can forget about it. This is a waste of time, in my personal opinion. Don't take anything other than this as me sharing my thoughts. Bitcoin holds value because people put value in it, not that it has a useful utility or a purpose other than just to store value. That's how I see it. Nothing special, but I mean, looking at this, it says the recent burst of activity is related to the Ordinals protocol on the Bitcoin blockchain, which has led to soaring costs for users, causing transaction fees to increase rapidly and delaying transactions. Who really wants to do that? Now, they're saying that the cause is from this other technology. The protocol introduced inscriptions, which can be added to sequentially numbered satoshis, the smallest denomination of Bitcoin, that's what a satoshi is, to create unique non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. So all this is coming from the creation of NFTs, right? The protocol is now also being used to mint BRC20s, which are essentially fungible tokens that can be created in huge quantities on the Bitcoin blockchain. The popularity of these new tokens has clogged the Bitcoin network, pushing it to its operational limits and causing users and exchanges to consider alternatives such as the Lightning Network, a layer 2 scaling solution designed to make Bitcoin transactions faster and cheaper. So again, when you start talking about these different layers, all they're doing is going from we're gonna have all the transactions come through this first, and then send a whole bunch as one transaction through the main network. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like so they're doing layer after, and it could go layer after layer after layer. I mean, technically, if you did it that way, and this is my thoughts, if I'm crazy or stupid or wrong, I'm just sharing my thoughts. But if you maxed out layer 2, what would you do? Create a layer 3. You see what I'm saying? So to me, I don't know. If there's a better way to do it, I would go with the better way to do it. I wouldn't innately take the harder way, especially if it's going to cost. It goes on to say a number of exchanges, including Kraken and Bitfinex, are now using this solution. A spokesperson for Binance said in an email to Forecast that the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange is also looking to enable BTC Lightning Network, which again, their layer 2 network, withdrawals for users within the next few months. However, even Lightning requires an initial on-chain transaction, which is now out of reach for many users due to the high cost. So even now, you got to put up just to use the Lightning Network. And obviously, it's going to be a considerable amount to use it. So is it for everybody? Probably not. For people that have money, yeah, they'll probably use it, which means that if it's for people with money, it'll reduce the load on the network, so because you won't have everybody using it. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. In the comment section, I could be wrong. I don't know. All right, moving along. Cardano nears max capacity. What it means for investors. Another one, right? Guillemot detailed several strategies to further scale the Cardano network, including increasing block sizes, encouraging more decentralized applications to migrate to the Plutus version 2 smart contract platform, and implementing tiered fees to create a proper on-chain market. He also pointed out the use of sidechains, layer 2 solutions, and a data availability layer to offload traffic from Cardano's layer 1 network. You see what I'm saying? We're talking the same thing. Because your network can take so much, you've got to make a second layer, bring people through the second layer, and then bring all those transactions under one transaction to the first layer. So then when the second layer gets maxed out, you've got to create a third layer. Then you got to go from third layer to second layer, then to first layer, which now we're just adding more time to the transaction. And it doesn't seem logical. It doesn't. I'm just saying. All right, moving along. Deloitte integrates blockchain for digital credentials. Digital ID. That's right. All right, this article says, in a May 4th statement, Deloitte announced it has integrated Kilt protocol technology, a Polkadot parachain, to enable the issuance of reusable digital credentials to its customers. The integration aims to improve the efficiency of Deloitte's Know Your Customer and Know Your Business verification process. In the statement, Deloitte said the standard and typically inefficient process, including KYC and KYB certificates being issued on paper and identity verification requests requiring multiple data points when only one is needed, often create extra work in the process. Right, we don't want extra work, let's simplify it. The credentials will serve various use cases, including regulatory compliance for banking and decentralized finance, age verification for e-commerce, private logins, and fundraising. All that is actually intelligent and smart. I think that's well needed, right? So the credentials, yes, it makes sense. It'll change a lot of things going forward in the future. As a whole, when we talk about everything going on. And it goes on to say, while the wallet will be stored on the customer's device and remain under their control at all times, Deloitte retains the ability to modify if circumstances change, as noted in the statement. And it says, credentials are digitally signed by Deloitte. Deloitte can revoke credentials using blockchain technology if conditions of the customer have changed after the credential was issued. Right, so that can be good and bad, and I hear everybody is probably flaming now, mad. Like, yes, that can be bad. It can be good, it can be bad, and because it can be bad, it makes it a bad thing. Just because people always look to do bad when it's easy, you know what I'm saying? Most people commonly look for the bad before they look for the good. So with them having the ability to alter the credentials, I can see bad things coming of that. Now, once they go through the verification of verifying you and they verified you, like, I think that should stop right there. That's it. It should stop right there. They should know I have the ability to go back and cancel you or change your information, because you could change it into something thinking that you're right and you're totally wrong. And now that can hinder and cause a lot of problems for me in my life and the things that I do and how I move. So yes, I do not like the sound of that at all. I do think having your credentials on the blockchain makes verification of you an easy, simple thing. And yeah, can things be hacked and things be altered? Of course. And could they be making this statement based on the fact that they think if something gets altered, that they will have to be able to go in and change it? That too, that's the good. But with the good comes the bad. And so that's definitely a hard one to deal with. Like, I'm not sure about that, but I can see the good just like I can see the bad. All right, billionaire Bill Ackman on U.S. banking crisis. We are running out of time to fix this problem. All right, so Ackman calls for urgent actions as time runs out to prevent more bank failures. It says billionaire Bill Ackman, CEO and portfolio manager of Pershing Square Capital Management, has warned that time is running out for the United States government to fix the banking system. He tweeted Wednesday, "The regional banking system is at risk. The rapid rise in rates impaired assets and drained deposit." Aikman explained that the failure of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to update and expand its insurance regime has hammered more nails in the coffin. He stressed that First Republic Bank would not have failed if the FDIC temporarily guaranteed deposits while a new guarantee regime were created. Instead, we watched the dominoes fall at great systemic and economic cost. First Republic Bank was seized by regulators earlier this week, and most of its assets were sold to JP Morgan Chase. The billionaire added that globally systemic banks have an unfair competitive advantage, as too big to fail means only their uninsured depositors can sleep soundly until the playing field is leveled. The regional banks are at grave risk. Right. All right, from the Daily Huddle. Success of BRICS would hurt U.S. living standards and diminish America's global standing. Executive JP Morgan executive. Goes on to say, veteran investor John Wolfenbarger says that the success of BRICS could have serious effects on the United States dollar and the living standards of Americans. Wolfenbarger, former investment banker at JP Morgan and Allianz, writes in a new article for the Mises Institute that throughout history, all empires have ultimately failed, and the U.S. likely won't be an exception. All right, so, what can you say to that other than we are failing? But even with that, let me say this. Even if the United States dollar fails, if they have another currency right behind it to back it up, let's say they've got a currency that they're backing with gold and silver that they may have purchased, I don't know, that'd be the smartest thing for them to do, then the United States wouldn't technically fail. They'll be just, equal to the rest of the nations going forward. Would the United States like to probably stay the dominant currency that everybody has to use? Yeah, they probably would. It gives them perks. But are other countries going to accept that? No, they're not accepting it. They're changing their system and ways now. All right, but the next article, it says LimeWire considers XRP integration for token sale. In a tweet posted May 6, LimeWire called on the Ripple community to voice their support, promising that if the tweet received 300 retweets, XRP would go live on the platform the following day. This comes shortly after the platform integrated Cardano's ADA as a payment method for its public token sale, following an enthusiastic response from the Cardano community. All right, so LimeWire, they accept these things for payment. A lot of businesses online already accept cryptocurrencies for payment. They have their list of cryptocurrencies they accept for payment. And this is why, I don't really concern myself about any particular token, whether it be a central bank digital coin or a stable coin. You can convert these things through these public exchanges into whatever you want and then spend them however you want. So stuff like this, I mean, of course, it's great news for XRP, obviously, but you know, you guys got to understand that a lot of businesses already accept cryptocurrency for payment. I don't care what the United States talks about. It doesn't bother me the least bit because other countries accept cryptocurrencies for payment. Oh, wow. Wow, we are at the end. Look, hey, it's over. I got through all that news pretty fast. Pretty fast. I'm glad you all stopped in to get your daily dose, I guess, at this point, because I think I'm getting better at getting this information out there. If you guys got any comments or you think there's some ways I can improve, get in the comment section, help me understand, and I'll catch you all in the next episode.